Say, here's an interesting article in the paper, Molly. It says this is National Dog Week.
Well, if I see any dogs on the street, I'll wish them many happy returns.
I might have known you'd make some whimsical crack like that. But I, for one, think that Dog Week is a pretty important thing. The noble dog is man's best friend, you know.
Well, the one that's been digging in my tulip bed is no friend of mine. And if you're slowly working up to the suggestion that we buy a dog, the answer is no. I have enough on my hands just taking care of you.
I'm not working up to any suggestions at all, Molly. I'm just saying that man has no more loyal friend than the noble dog. You may be a failure in the eyes of the world, but you're always a hero to your dog. A great poet wrote those words. Of course, they never got published on account of because the two sentences don't rhyme.
Well, frankly, McGee, I don't know why you're waxing so poetic. Every time you pass a strange dog on the street, you shinny up a telephone pole.
I just do that out of sheer nostalgia, Molly. I never see a dog without thinking of Old Sport.
Well, I know I'll regret asking, but who was Old Sport?
He was my boyhood companion when we lived on the farm back in Peoria, up on top of Kickapoo Hill. No matter where I went or what I did, Old Sport was right there at my heels. It was a pretty sad day in my life when we had to have him put away.
What happened? Did he get old and feeble?
No, my father got the vet to chloroform him because he chased cars.
Well, I don't understand why your father did that. A lot of dogs chase cars.
I know, but Old Sport was different. He caught most of the cars he chased and buried them. My father was always breaking his plow blade, hitting old Appersons and Saxon Super Sixes out in the field, and once an Essex. Finally, he said the Old Sport would have to go.
I can imagine how sad you must have been.
Yeah.
Every lad needs a dog.
Well, I got another one before too long, and that one was Bowser. I got rid of him, too.
Why?
He was too soft-hearted to catch mice around the farm. The only thing he'd go after was the chickens.
I see.
Yeah. Then after Bowser, I had Poochie. He's the one who bit his way through 3 postmen in less than a year.
He sounds like he was awfully mean.
Well, that's what most people thought, but I always figured that he was just mad because he never got any mail. He wasn't near as mean as Tige. That was the next dog I had.
I'm almost afraid to ask what he did.
Well, Tige had a habit of licking your hand. And then when you reached over to pat him, he'd sink his teeth right in the fleshy part. I finally got rid of him and bought Pal. Pal. He was the one who would hang around the schoolhouse all day just waiting for me to come out so he could bite me.
Well, it certainly sounds as if you had a series of mean dogs.
Yes, sir. Every dead rat one of them was downright vicious. If you turned your back to him, you were just asking for it. As a matter of fact, Molly, there's one thing I've never understood about dogs.
What's that?
Who in Tunket ever started all this blarney about them being man's best friend? Here, Towser! Here, Towser! Here, Towser!
What in the world are you doing, McGee?
I'm just practicing calling the dog.
But we don't have a dog.
My keen observation has already acquainted me with that fact, but what with this being National Dog Week, I'm seriously considering the purchase of one.
Well, you can just unconsider it again, McGee. A dog is a nuisance, and I don't want to have one around the house.
Molly, how can you say such a thing? Don't you realize what a wonderful experience it is to come home tired and defeated and have someone waiting there to lick your hand and wag its tail?
Well, I already have you to do that. I don't need a dog.
Doggone it, Molly. Every family should have a dog. Maybe a cute little terrier to sit by our feet and learn tricks and lavish its love on us.
Yeah, and track mud on the carpet and dig up the flower bed and scare the birds away. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Whiz, Molly, you're being downright unreasonable. Didn't you ever have a dog around the house when you were a little girl?
I did. And he went mad and it bit my grandfather, and we had to shoot him.
You mean you just blasted the old gentleman in cold blood that way?
It was the dog we shot, not my grandfather.
Oh, I thought it was Grandpa. Well, I still say that a dog would offer us a lot of companionship, and he wouldn't eat much, just table scraps.
McGee, what's left on the table after you finish a meal wouldn't even feed the fleas on an average dog.
Well, maybe I could cut down on my own intake to save some for the pup. My chest expansion is getting a little too big anyway.
It isn't so much that it's getting too big, dearie. The real problem is that your chest is slipping down too low.
Well, be that as it may not be or not, I'm all for buying a beagle, purchasing a pointer, acquiring an Airedale, or picking up a Pekingese.
Well, now listen. If I should let you buy a dog, would you take care of him yourself?
Why, sure I would. I'd teach him to do tricks and let him sleep at the foot of my bed and everything.
What about feeding him and bathing him? Those are things that have to be done.
Well, sure. I guess I could do those things.
You'd have to get up early from your afternoon nap to take him out for a walk. Dogs need a lot of exercise, you know.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't have to walk far.
And you'd have to get out the vacuum every night and clean up the dog hairs. They all shed.
I get the picture. I think I'll go out for a little while.
Where you going, to buy a dog?
No, I thought I might pick up a couple of goldfish. They really give you a lot more companionship than a dog, anyway.
McGee, why do you have that sickly grin on your face? Did something you ate at lunch disagree with you?
No, it's just that my heart is filled with love, Molly.
For me?
No, for dogs. This is National Dog Week, you know. I just can't help thinking what a noble creature the canine really is.
Well, I can't help feeling a little bit insulted, McGee.
Oh?
After all, I'm the one who cooks your meals and does your laundry and sews buttons on your shirts. You never get carried away with affection for me.
Oh, well, that's different, Molly. You're human.
Well, thank you, I think.
Did you ever notice how proudly a dog holds his head? Even a mongrel seems to know that being a dog is something pretty special. He's man's best friend, Molly.
Well, maybe so, but I've always been more fond of the mink myself.
I think this surge of emotion I'm going through must be something like a poet goes through before he writes a great classic. Oh, my gosh, Molly. That's it.
It is?
Sure. With me overflowing this way, I ought to be able to write a great poem about dogs. That'll be my way of observing National Dog Week.
Well, that sounds harmless enough. There's a paper and pencil on the desk.
Let me at 'em quick. Boy, oh, boy, I got to get these immortal lines down before I forget 'em. Oh, boy, this is going to be great. What rhymes with wire-haired terrier?
Typhoid carrier.
Well, it's not too romantic a thought, but it may do. I've just got to get one more verse here, and I'll have the greatest thing since Carl Sandburg stopped writing poetry and took up the zither.
I think it's the guitar he took up.
Well, whatever he took up, it's immaterial. Main thing is that I got the poem finished. You want to hear it?
I don't suppose it'd do much good to say no, so go ahead.
Hail to thee, O noble dog, friend in sleet and hail and small. Some say they prefer the cat, some like the ibex, and some the bat. Some like the emu, some the frog, but I prefer the noble dog. I like chows and Pomeranians digging holes in the geraniums. I like Dobermans and hounds. My love for them doth hath no bounds. My eyes with teardrops seem to blur when I behold the noble cur. Well, what do you think of it, Molly?
It's incredible.
I knew you'd like it. And I bet I can get it published in the Wistful Vista Gazette, too. I'm going to call the editor right now and tell him what a great item I've got for National Dog Week.
Try to get him to say he'll use it before you read it to him.
Don't you worry. I know how to handle it. Hello? Let me speak to the editor. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, he did? Oh, well, that puts the whole thing in a kind of a different light. No, I wouldn't care to leave my name. Goodbye.
Wasn't the editor there, McGee?
No, he's in the hospital. Got bit by a dog.
Heavenly days, McGee. Why are you wearing the heavy winter gloves on a hot day like this?
Well, that's simple enough to explain. This is National Dog Week.
I see. Does that make your hands cold?
No. You don't seem to understand, Molly. I'm getting ready to go out for a walk. With this being Dog Week, I'll naturally have to stop and pat every pooch I pass on the pavement. If one of them turns out to be unfriendly, I'd rather have him get a mouthful of glove instead of my fingers.
Don't you think you'd better put an asbestos shingle in your trousers, too? Just in case some dog waits until you're walking away before he decides he doesn't like you?
I don't think there's much danger of that. I've got a way with animals, you know. Well, I'll be back by dinner time. So long, Snooky.
Goodbye, dearie.
Ah, the moon shines tonight. Oh. Yes, there's something invigorating about the weather at this time of the year. The humidity seems to soak right into your pores.
Hi, Mr. McGee.
Oh, hi there, Teeny.
Hi.
Well, I see you're out giving your pedal extremities a refresher course in perambulating, too.
Well,
I see you're out for a walk, as I am likewise.
Oh, I sure am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going over to Willie Troop's house and play party.
Parcheesi?
No, ping pong.
Oh.
Willie got a new set for his birthday.
Oh, good. Well, I'd like to come over and give you tots a few pointers on pawing a ping pong paddle, but I got other business to attend to right now.
Oh. What you doing, mister? What's it?
Well, I'm out hunting for dogs that I can pat as my contribution to National Dog Week. Which reminds me, Teeny, have you done anything special for your dog, Margaret, in honor of Dog Week?
Oh, I sure have, I betcha.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him my cap.
Oh, well, that sounds like an appropriate gift.
It's only fair.
Mm-hmm.
I gave our cat the canary during Cap Week.
Oh. Well, the main thing to remember is that dog is man's best friend. I don't hold with small children mistreating pets, you know.
Oh, boy, I don't either.
No, sir.
Mm-mm. little children who aren't nice to their dogs should be sent to bed without any supper.
You betcha. I agree wholeheartedly.
Me too.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I naturally would because I was the one who said it.
Well, it's a good idea, whoever said it. A child has to learn early that a dog is not a plaything. It has feelings just like people.
What about pulling its tail?
That's downright cruel. You know that as well as I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I better be getting home, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to Willie Toops' to play ping pong.
I was, but I think I better go home and put myself to bed without any supper instead. So long, mister.
McGee, you've been sitting there at the desk writing ever since supper. What are you doing?
I'm just totaling up all the good deeds I've done for National Dog Week, Molly. And it's a pretty impressive list, too. So far, I've patted 16 spaniels, 11 collies, 4 police dogs, 3 malamutes, and 1 little fellow of uncertain heritage.
Well, you certainly have made a project out of being nice to dogs. In fact, you're the only person I ever heard of who got stiff arm muscles just from doing so much patting.
Yeah, I got to put some liniment on there tonight, too. I want to have my arm in good shape again to squeeze melons during National Cantaloupe Week.
Well, I'm just happy that we've gotten through Dog Week without having you buy one. You were weakening there for a while, you know.
Well, I still think it would have been a good idea. Nothing takes the place of a faithful dog snoozing at your feet.
Oh, I get pretty much the same effect when you take a nap. I just close my eyes and listen to you snore, and I can almost imagine that it's an elderly Great Dane with adenoids.
Molly, I'll thank you not to compare my nocturnal noises with those of a dozing dog.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
Hey, speaking of noises, you hear something peculiar?
Yes, I do. Sounds like the mice in the basement are sandpapering something.
Oh, it couldn't be that. Sounds more like it's something at the front door.
Maybe you better check. Might be the newsboy coming to collect. He usually scratches instead of knocking.
Yeah, he is a strange kind of a kid, all right. Well, I'll look into the matter.
Heavenly days, it's a dog.
Well, I'll be doggone. Hey, he looks like a breed I haven't patted this week either. Come on in, boy.
Oh, now, why did you do that, McGee? You're tracking mud all over the carpet.
Oh, gosh, I didn't notice his dirty feet. Come on, boy. Get back outside. I'll feed you out there. Come on, out, out, out.
Oh, be careful, McGee.
Oh.
The hair on the back of his neck is standing straight up.
Well, that's nothing, so is mine. Just look at those teeth on him.
Get out of the way. He's getting set to lunge at your throat.
I'm headed for the top of the bookcase until this whole thing works itself out by having you get rid of him.
Oh, I don't want to get near him. I'm just going to leave the door open and hope that he wanders out of his own accord.
Good gosh, Molly. That may be ours. I can't stay up here on top of the bookcase indefinitely. You know heights make me dizzy.
This is really humorous, McGee. You've been talking all week about the dog being man's best friend. Now look at you.
Well, what I said still goes. This dog is my friend. The only trouble arises out of the fact that I don't seem to be a friend of his.